Hello, everyone, and welcome to At Death's Door. Thank you for joining us for an evening of Dungeons & Dragons. I'm Sean, and I will be your Dungeon Master tonight. We're thrilled to be streaming at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg. At Death's Door is the third in the trilogy that is Lonely House of Neverwinter, A Viscous Cycle, and focuses on the events of everybody's favourite plague, the bloat, as a new group of adventurers try to prevent a certain elder evil from making her way to this plane. For those of you who are new to Dungeons & Dragons, that's going to mean nothing to you. But everyone here plays fantasy characters in a fantasy universe. The 5 players each have their own unique character, with sheets that tell them who they are, what they can do, their deepest secrets, and what dice to roll. They will mostly be rolling this. Where is it? A d20 to see if they succeed in what they're trying to do. 20 is good, and 1 is hilariously bad. And whilst they play their characters, everything else in said fantasy universe is played by me. People, monsters, weather patterns, the things that are inevitably watching them that they never quite catch. Between me describing the world and story, the players describing what they want to do in it, and some dice rolls to keep things unpredictable for all of us, we will tell our story. For now, let's meet the players and have a word from our sponsors.
Well, time to save the world again. Eltrin Ablodra, Harper Agent, code name Ornate Doorbell, half-drow sorcerer of the aberrant and master of the mind. In the rare instances my personality can't charm you, I have the psionic abilities to finish the job. Played, once again, by David Shears, both he, him in terms of the pronouns. Back with a team of talented misfits, hunting down mysteries and vicariously fighting evil, proving, once again, that mind can triumph over body. I hope you enjoy the shenanigans.
Hi, I'm Evie. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Arcana, who also uses she, her pronouns. Arcana is a half-elf artificer rogue from the very nearly and now locked, devoured planet of Corazon. Chosen by the powers of chaos from her home faction, the Chaos Collective, she has innovated, fought, and betrayed her way to Neverwinter as a lone envoy from her home to deliver a warning against a pending invasion of a powerful elder being. Armed only with her wits, a penguin named Barbara, and a massive gun, she's here to make sure past mistakes are not repeated, and hopefully she won't get too distracted along the way.
Hi, I'm Nat. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Tessalin, who also uses she, her pronouns. Tessalin is an Abael, a sort of bee elf hybrid person, and her species have only just arrived in the material plane from the Abyss a couple of months ago through some kind of magical finagling. And if you want to know more about that, maybe you could go back and watch A Viscous Cycle, also DM'd by Sean. After the events of said campaign, she was tasked by her mother, Queen Olaj, to serve as an ambassador to the population of Neverwinter, which is a job she's been undertaking with great enthusiasm, as she's keen to explore this new world and that her hive have found themselves in, and all the terribly squishy folks that live in it.
Hi, so my name is Natalia, she, her pronouns, and I am very excited to be here and play with Roll Together in what I think is my debut game. Yay! So, I am here to join at Death's Door, and I play Zinmoira Lithram, who is born as to high elves in an established family in Neverwinter. She is a grave cleric who has been absent for a while, when she has, after a slightly transforming incident, gone to learn a bit more about herself and a bit more control. Hearing more about the disturbing events in Neverwinter that may or may not be affecting the city which her family live in, she has come back to investigate, save the day, and try and not let her inner compulsions get the better of her.
Hello there, my name's Josh. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Jakarth, who also uses he, him pronouns. Jakarth is a hybrid ranger, fighter character. Hybrid. When I say hybrid, he's part human, part dragon. Not the dragon-born kind of dragon, the dragon kind of dragon. Having been experimented on by a rather horrible gentleman called Jorak Antoni. We've previously saw Jakarth in A Viscous Cycle, and he dealt with those demons along with his friend Eltrion, and he's now still working with the Church of Kelemvor as well as the Harpers, but don't tell anybody that.
We are delighted to be sponsored by Hero Forge. Hero Forge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. You can see all of the minis that we designed for this stream in the overlay, and they animate when we enter the combat, so look out for that. Hero Forge are fantastic, so do check out the Pro membership where you can get premium access to features ahead of time, and beta access to things, and all sorts of cool stuff that just makes your life a lot easier. And you can check them out at heroforge.com.
We are delighted to be sponsored by Ultra Pro. They make accessories for D&D, Magic the Gathering, and more. My favourite part of the collection are their figurines of adorable power. Here is their gazer. They also make other things such as deck boxes if you play Magic the Gathering. You can find all of Ultra Pro stuff at ultrapro.com.
Hey friends, check out our new sponsor, Phoenix Dice, for a carefully curated menagerie of click-clack math rocks for your delectation. Check out their entire selection at phoenixdice.com, and just so you know, Phoenix Dice are all about living gloriously in the worlds of tabletop games and sustainably in this one, which means their dice are working to be recycled, their packaging is recycled, the dice are made of sustainable materials. It's all great stuff. You should definitely get involved. You can also join us today in chat with a chance to be in a raffle and win some Phoenix Dice of your own. Just put !dice into chat and you'll be in with a chance to win.
We are proud to be sponsored by Alchemy RPG. Reimagine your gaming experience with Alchemy. They're focused on creating immersive cinematic experiences everywhere you interact with tabletop role-playing games. Playing a game, creating a world, streaming, watching live games, discovering new content. Look at all the cool stuff that they are doing there. You can use environmental motion art, scene-based music, seamless character management to run your games over the internet, with upcoming features including homebrew content, streaming overlays, and spectator mode. So go and check out alchemyrpg.com.
We're delighted to be supported by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, a Dungeons & Dragons strategy video game that brings together D&D characters from novels, adventures, and multiple live streams into a single grand adventure. Select your heroes and formation and battle through waves of monsters for free on PC, phone, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. You can pop exclamation code into chat for a free Electrum chest.
We're delighted to be supported by Neverwinter. In Neverwinter, explore and defend one of the most beautiful cities from Dungeons & Dragons' Forgotten Realms campaign setting as it rises from the ashes of destruction. Epic stories, action combat, and classic role-playing await those heroes courageous enough to enter the fantastic world of Neverwinter. Neverwinter is completely free to play, so set yourself up an account today and pop !NW gift into chat for a link to a free gift.
Check out our wonderful supporters, Elderwood Academy, who make beautiful bespoke gaming-themed gear, including hex chest dice boxes, spellbook deck boxes disguised as bespoke ancient arcane tomes, and scroll and codex dice tower and rolling tray pairings. Make your own with their online designer at elderwoodacademy.com.
This stream will run for 3 hours, and there will be roughly a 5 to 10 minute break somewhere towards the middle. We run shows on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 6 p.m. Greenwich Meridian / British Summertime, which is 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. in mainland Britain, and 2 a.m. Tuesday mornings in Japan and parts of Australia. On Mondays, we run TTRPG streams. These can be one-shots, 4, 6, 8, or even 12 weeks long. You can always find our latest schedule at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg/schedule. On Tuesdays, we have our ongoing campaign, Fracture. And on Fridays, we have our talk show, Talk Together, and Talking is a Free Action, which lasts for 1 hour.
We are Roll Together RPG on all socials, so find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even TikTok. Links in chat.
Thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. You can find a link in chat. Help us make our shows from just £1, $1, or £1 gold piece, and unlock more tiers by joining. Our D20 Club are fab. They've created a fan Discord for us. They've also made a wiki page for Roll Together. You can find that at rolltogether.fandom.com.
Welcome to our podcast, listeners. If you also would like to listen to us via podcast, you can search for Altogether RPG on your favourite podcast provider. If we're not there, let us know and we will add ourselves to that list.
Bumble. This is a break between. There's a pause card. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters with wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans and GNC positive, and we encourage and champion trans and GNC players and characters in our games. The DM and players may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own. We aim to avoid misgendering, but acknowledge that it does happen, and have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. If we miss an instance of misgendering, we are open to being corrected, so please do just let us know in the chat if you think one has been missed. Check out !safety in the chat for content warnings and some of the safety tools that we use through the TTRPG Safety Toolkit. But for now, let us commence. Welcome back, everyone, to session 3 of At Death's Door. So last session we started off at the gates of the Neverdeath graveyard in Neverwinter. Our team wanted to go in with their captive vampire, but were unable to do so because doing so would be a death warrant. That's not the word. Death sentence. Death thing. It would be death for their vampire colleague. So they decided to let them free, to trust them, and in the fight against the aberrations. Going into the graveyard, managed to pick up some traces of aberrations, and they led to a stone door that they couldn't bypass. 3 of the team decided to wait and see whether someone came along to open this door up. 2 of the team decided to go back to Moira's home and have a lovely Sunday roast with the parents. We had a long rest, which is unusual on stream, I think. By the sounds of it, I'm one of the only DMs who bloody does it. Everyone else is like, no, these events happen within 4 hours. But not me. I was kind, apparently. After your long rest, you managed to kind of get back together just as a pair of shady-looking individuals were dragging an aberration to the door, managed to open it up, at which point you leapt into action. One of them managed to drink a potion to turn themselves into an aberration, so you suddenly were fighting 2, one of whom did not manage to do this, and you made them fall asleep. You saw off the 2 aberrations that were there, and dragged the cultist into the little kind of shrine that this, more like a tomb, a crypt. It's in a graveyard. Use your own word. Mausoleum is a good word. More words to come. You did some interrogating using some mind tricks and also some words of your own, stern words and intimidating words. Much intimidation was had. And you've gotten a bit of information out of the cultist, including the name of the leader who recruited the cultist, one Goregrain Grimson, I think. Yes, Goregrain Grimson. I'm sure that won't come up in the breaks or anything. And that's basically where we pick up. You heard some noises coming from the corridor. They don't sound like urgent noises. It's not the noises of things coming to get you right this second, but things that bear investigation. Once you've finished interrogating the poor person in front of you.
Some would say that when we left the vampire at the entranceway to the graveyard, because it would surely mean his death, we left him at death's door, and with that, goodbye.
I was going to say that's got to be used. Boo card.
He said the name. He said the name of the game.
Never let it be said that I use fanciful names that never come into it. No, I'm very literal.
I think Tesalin will, as Elchon is doing his psionic stuff, interrogating this cultist, and Moira is also standing there being all tough and very intimidating. Tesalin will sort of slowly inch over to Moira and just come right up next to her. And then she didn't need to because she can telepathically communicate, but it's almost like she's come over to whisper to be like,
you can be very intimidating and scary, and people seem to respond to it. What do I do? Tell me what to do. I want to ask him a question, but I want to be scary like you.
I don't try to be scary.
Oh.
Just this idiot wants to cause the end of the world, and that's a big problem. Usually, forthrightness and a sense of authority and the threaten to just kick him in painful places, but as a very last resort, when they want to end the world. Don't usually kick prisoners.
Okay. All right. I'll give it a go. Thank you.
We'll sort of totter over to the cultist, and he'll get in his head.
You, inferior being, you are speaking to Princess Tesalin of the Neverwinter, a Bale colony. Tremble before me.
Please make an intimidation check.
And answer my questions, or I shall kick you in painful places.
If I glare behind Tesalin very thoroughly, can Tesalin have advantage?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's not looking too bad. Oh, okay. So that is maths. No, brain. Do the maths. 3 plus 25. There we go. Oh.
Nice. Yeah. So he does kind of cower back a bit. He's probably not really seen in a Bale. The Bale seem to be resistant to a lot of the aberrational stuff, and also don't tend to do a lot of walking around on the floor. So probably wouldn't have picked any up in the course of his usual activities. So yeah, you are definitely a strange being that he has never encountered, and you have said some very threatening words to him. So
she's also waggled one of her 4 feet in a I will kick you manner, but it's obviously she's in a Bale, so it's a very thin stick leg, just like a pencil.
I like to imagine that you walked over doing that kind of head bobble as well. So,
excuse me, sir. You will tell me what the exact plan was with this aberrant creature that you had been marching into here, and what is downstairs, and what will they do?
Oh, that's a lot of questions.
And you will answer them.
Just so you know, this spell lasts a minute, so whenever you decide a minute's gone, it obviously won't affect what they say, but it will affect what I can glean from what they say.
Okay. Is it a spell that takes a spell slot? Or
yeah, I've used a slot already, so I can't. It's not a cantrip; it's a level 2 because it has other effects that can be used. But if I push deeper, then they get a whiz save anyway.
Yeah.
But up until the point that they would save it, I would get some kind of psychic link. Plus, they won't know that the spell's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. So he kind of looks at you. It's too late. Plans underway. We're bringing about the end of the world as you know it, but the beginning of life.
Do not presume to know how I know. Oh, no. Do not presume to know how I perceive the world, for 'tis different than yours. What, pray tell, are the steps to bringing about the end of the world?
We're drawing the true mother through.
How?
She has already taken one world, and we are bringing her through to this one.
Yes, but how?
We've been working with a wizard, one who knows the ways of bringing people through. Guy by the name of Mantioch.
That's surely a made-up name.
Sure.
Eltrion will get a vision of a thin, elvish-looking person with a beard, glasses.
Does it mean anything to anyone?
Mantioch.
I'll say that in character. Has anyone heard of this Mantioch fellow? Thin, elvish-looking guy with glasses.
Anyone who wants to may roll a history check.
Might be a disadvantage.
I imagine I would probably have just given you a ridiculous DC compared to everyone else, to be fair.
I like rolling dice, so I'm going to roll anyway.
Yeah, here's where you get your natural 20.
Nope, I got a 1, fittingly.
One.
Narrative dice.
I may have forgotten that I knew him. I didn't.
Yeah, so with a 1, I think that's fitting. You know very few people of this place. What did everyone else roll?
19.
A 15, in case I prompted my own memory.
I decided not to roll because 1, I'm not proficient, and 2, I have a +0 to history, so I definitely wouldn't know.
Was in the middle of going for it. 16.
16. Okay. Nat, did you roll or?
I did. Yeah, I rolled. I got an 18 on the dice with the +1.
19. Okay. I would say that those of you who rolled at all and not a 1, sorry, you've heard the name about. It's kind of, you've not really heard a lot about this name, but where you've heard it tells you a bit more. It's a name that's only been whispered in kind of the lowest of the low, kind of scummiest taverns. Like your contacts who you know are greasing the greasiest of palms. I don't know, I'm running out of metaphors now. It's not a name that's been spoken by people in high society, is what I'm saying. So you can kind of gather that this is someone who's working very much underground, probably an alias.
And could you spell it for us, please, Sean?
Mantioc, Mantioch.
Got it right. Sorry, that never
on the
happens.
end.
I mean, don't work on it too much, because then I'll have to come up with another anagram for next time. So yeah, Eltrion gets this kind of vision of this person. I think probably fair to say that it's going to be coming up to the end of your minute.
Yeah.
But while he's thinking, he also kind of gets this kind of interference noise, which it sounds like buzzing of insect wings. That just kind of just as the image starts to kind of resolve and then disappears before it kind of fully realizes, you get just this kind of almost static, as if a swarm of flies flew in the way of your vision.
Well, that was desperately unpleasant.
Are you okay?
I've seen worse things, but, well, I'm sure it comes as a surprise to nobody in particular, but there may be insects in our immediate future, and I don't mean friendly ones.
Oh, right. Okay. That's good to say.
Well, quite.
Well,
Hey,
what?
Is there anything else anyone wants to ask this individual?
Believe it or not, I might have something to say to this guy. So do you mind if I just kind of put in here?
Threaten to kick him in the painful places.
Okay, right. I got you. Hello, fuckface. How's your day going?
I've had better.
Yeah, you're about to have a lot worse. Do you know why? Because Mummy is not gonna like all of this. Do you know what she does? Do you know about where she's just come from? The world she is eating. What do you know about that? You know she's just having her final meal, right?
She will devour all worlds.
I mean, usually there's a gap between them.
But she's being drawn through.
By your design. Listen, I don't think you really know what you've signed up for.
Everlasting life.
No, everlasting suffering.
I mean, existence is suffering.
Do you have anyone you love, or like, or, find tolerable in the world?
No.
That explains a lot of what's going on here. So you're suffering already, so you think that... What, when everyone's suffering, no one will be?
Everyone is suffering.
And why are you seeking to change? Do you understand what to do a bad thing is? Just elementary. I'm just trying to see how intelligent you are right now, because you sound like a fucking idiot.
I mean, I understand the concept of doing evil, but what we are doing is correcting the world. We are making all life in her image, as is the divine plan.
Her image is ugly as fuck, mate. I don't think you want that.
We might have to agree to disagree on that one.
And if it's the natural order, she'd get here in her own goddamn time. Without you meddling in with her divine plans. You know what? I don't think you have the answers I want. I think you're just a bit of a mouthpiece. You're just another puppet. Right? Right?
He seems to be kind of just keeping quiet at this point. I think he realizes that his immediate future is going to be brief and painful.
Has anyone else got anything to say to this guy?
What's our intention with him?
Well, I hate to be the one to say it, but he has seen all of our faces, and, well, if my abilities prove anything at all, it's that information can be gleaned from the psyche of weak-minded types, if you follow my drift.
How many of you are there?
Hundreds.
And do all of you carry one of these little vials around with you?
As far as I'm aware.
Well, I mean, it's up to the rest of you. Do you want it to be painful, or do we just make it quick?
We're not monsters, Jakar.
No, he is.
Can we?
It doesn't matter what he is.
Oh, sorry.
No. You go right ahead.
Don't think he's smart enough to be a proper monster. He's just going with the flow. He's just unhappy.
Take his potion of him, maybe? Instead?
I believe Moira has that. Where do these tunnels lead?
He's starting to steel himself. Has decided to. He will need more encouragement. Let's say, if you wanted to get any more information out of him.
I will. I'll hit him with a subtle mind slither that no one else can see, or notice, or stop.
Is that save?
In save.
If it's still within the minute, he's still baned.
Okay. I think you cast that before Eltron did the...
Just before, so depending on the timing.
Yeah, so that one's run out. So I think Bane has as well. That is a 16.
No, fails. Some mindy stuff. Not a lot. 6 points of psychic.
Underneath the whole ward. The whole of the Protector's Enclave. Bits of the Beggar's Quarter. Doesn't go under the river.
Or your intention was to unleash this creature onto the population below?
Once she comes through, there's nowhere that won't feel her touch.
Arcana, did you not say that this god was very big?
Fungus.
I'm sorry, how, to the cultist, how do you intend on fitting her in the tunnels under the city?
He's gone back to Resolute, ignoring you. I will, though, Evie, do you want to roll a history check?
Sure.
History, religion, or Arcana?
Oh, it's definitely Arcana.
Right there in the name.
That's 28.
28. So you would be aware that when so the Chaos Collective, when they doing the orientation and helping people with planning for the end of the world, they had like a little, I'm now imagining like a PowerPoint presentation where there's a right, this is what will happen. They would have informed you that when Ragnorra travels to a world, most of her actually gets eaten up in the atmosphere, and that's what the kind of spores that hang in the air are. Is all of her kind of conflagrated body bits that have burned off her, and so she lands on a world greatly reduced. So all you actually really need is a sliver of Ragnorra to come through, and then she will expand and kind of grow exponentially.
Gross.
Yeah.
And you remember that fact. It's up to you whether Arcana would, try and lessen the poignancy of Tesalen's question, but you know why and how.
But let's split later. I want Tesalen to have her Yo Mama joke just in there.
I'm increasingly convinced that people are privy to information that I don't possess.
Yeah, from an entirely other plane.
I meant regarding our present and immediate circumstances, but quite. Regardless, we have the elephant in the room, so to speak. What are we to do with this individual?
I say kill her. There are children who exist in the world. I have nibblings. I exist knowing that I will live long enough to see them die, but they still have hope and light and a future. And this guy is so dedicated to insanity that he would want to take that from them. He wants to be a martyr? Let him. Just kill him now.
During this speech, Arcana is going to take a literal D20 out of her pocket, roll it, and then just kind of go up to him with the gun to his head, just being like, any objections?
Do it.
Nope. Okay. Shoots him in the head.
I didn't quite want to study his brain. Oh, never mind.
I mean, yeah, point blank range with, your weapon. It's a no-brainer. It's going to do the job.
Yeah. The alternative is we all just gather around and start wailing on him, which is just silly.
Yeah, he collapses to the ground. He is mort, as people might say if they couldn't speak French. What would you like to do? So you are stood in this kind of antechamber, and you can see that there are steps going down into this kind of tunnel complex. There are kind of ambient noises that just sound quite guttural, a bit like throaty, the kind of noises that you would expect to come from a creature that was formerly human and possessed of human vocal cords, but is now stretched and strained out of proportion by profane magics.
Just thought maybe we should have asked him where his meeting place is on the surface.
I don't think he was being very talkative at the end there anyway.
That's a very good point.
Before we move on, just to let you guys know that Ragnorra, massive. Only the tiniest, littlest little sliver of her needs to get through to infect this world, and she'll go into the atmosphere and evolve from there. Luckily, though, we've got this plane locking device. So as long as we get to the access point in time, and I can lock her away for good, it should be fine. We just need to get there as soon as we can.
We have a range. It's the Protector's Enclave and the Beggar's Quarter, so we know it's not the whole of Neverwinter we have to search. We have a name of someone who, someone who recruited them, so someone to start off with. That's 2 good starts.
Further down here.
Yes, there were some noises a little while ago, weren't there?
Sean, the Neverdeath graveyard, where is that in relation to the Protector's Enclave and the Beggar's Quarter?
So the Neverdeath graveyard is huge, for one thing, and it's in the kind of southern, if you imagine kind of Neverwinter as a rough circle, it occupies kind of most of like a kind of southern point, and then you've got off to the west, the southwest of the city is the Protector's Enclave, and then the southeast of the city is the Beggar's Quarter.
So this may well just be the entrance then. It's right in the middle of those 2 places, so... How are we all feeling? Should we just dive down there right now? Shall we?
Time at the present?
Does seem like there might be a little bit of clock management required. No time to waste.
I agree.
Eltrion, did you need to tell any of your fancy secret people that we don't know about this at all before we go in?
Well, I know Jakarth, do we?
I mean, it would probably be a good idea just so there's a backup in case anything does happen to us.
Yeah, that's fair. In which case, yeah. Don't want to burn a 3rd level spell slot though. Would they have given me some? Sean, would they have given me some means of letting them know there was information, and therefore to contact me?
Do you think okay, in the interest of not, depleting your magic options, they probably would give you some sort of kind of last ditch, like, I know that I'm going into a situation I might not come out of, once use only, probably like a spell scroll of sending, just so that you can appraise them of what you're doing.
Well, I don't think things have got quite that desperate yet. Besides, if this, for lack of a better word, plague is infecting minds, we don't necessarily know who might be compromised and who might not.
I could see if I could find any of the hive that are nearby and tell them. Information would spread pretty quickly amongst the rest of them that way. And then if any of your super secret friends that we don't know about knew any of my hive, then they could tell them.
I mean, for the avoidance of doubt, I don't know many of them either. I just have means at my disposal. But we have an arrangement. They leave me alone to do my research, and I help them out from time to time.
Right, everyone's being extremely vague. Who are these super secret friends that I do not know about?
No one knows. They're super secret.
That doesn't exactly foster trust.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know who they are either. There could. I know of several groups that there could be of super secret people. There just exist lots of super secret groups. I do not know which ones these ones are.
Do you think it's quite cool and mysterious?
Sure, they're not connected to Ragnorra.
No.
They would be very much against the idea of what they perceive as evil influencing our realm. They have a slightly backward way of looking at things in that respect. But
is Arcana is paranoid? Can I insight roll?
Yeah.
Luckily, all of my insight rolls, the lowest I can roll is an 8. So, I don't know, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 13.
13. I imagine your passive, even your passive kind of persuasion and deception are going to be higher than a 13.
Well, I mean, I just rolled a 28. There's a reason I'm a faction agent. However, I mean, would I need to deceive? I mean, actually, because I don't know Arcana, so it might actually be. You won't know whether this is true or not. But what I'll say is, well, I'll put it this way, Arcana. If they saw you as a threat to the stability of the realms, they would have no compunction about taking you out. Now, that isn't me saying that. It's just how they are. Like I said, a bit backward, but we have an understanding. Jakarth's more there meat and potatoes. I'm kind of a side salad.
Was there a threat sandwiched in?
You don't know.
I'm getting quite hungry now. Shall we carry on?
This is a lot of food talk again. I
will very quickly see if I can feel any of the hive close enough to telepathically boop them.
I think we decided it was like 120 feet, didn't we?
This graveyard is very big. Are there any nearby?
I think that the network, they've kind of tried to spread it out and try to kind of cover everything at points. So in the interests of us not having to pause while you leave and go out and come back and stuff, yes, you will get a kind of passing sensation that someone's nearby that you can ping a quick text to.
I'll just convey that we think that to keep an eye out around the Protector's Enclave and the Beggar's Quarter for anyone with aberrations and to stop them if they see them around. To keep an eye out for someone named Cora Grain Grimson, and that we are going in here because we believe there might be a path to where the ritual's taking place.
Okay. Perfect.
Not so much a tweet, but a buzz.
Very much so.
I was going with an insect message instead of an instant message, but it didn't quite work.
It's a good thing that they built those 5B masts.
This is cumulative from everyone. Boo.
Oh. We don't get our inspiration then. I'm pretty sure Sean said if nobody groaned at my next pun, we'd all get inspiration.
Oh no!
It was just accumulation of puns.
It was the riff. Well done, team.
So also, I rolled a 23 insight just to go and check vibe check Mr. Doorbell.
I mean, you rolled a 28, so even a 23 is.
He's a very friendly guy. Very dangerous guy, but a very friendly guy.
I feel like just getting. I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling that there are more onion layers than initially presented.
I think the correct term is there are more cheese layers. That would be the correct term. That's Eltrion's favourite food.
Speaking of which, can I interest anyone in some cheese while we walk?
Nope.
You, buddy.
That my mother's.
I'm okay, thank you. I am curious. Maybe next time. I still need to try this cabbage as well.
Good.
So, is everyone heading further into the catacombs?
Yeah. As the fade outline, just like, oh, by the way, Jakarth, more that makes a fantastic spread. Some of the best homemade goods I've ever had in my life.
Are you trying to rub it in the fact that I had to sleep in a bush all night?
Just pat him on the back. Sacrifices, my friend. Sacrifices.
Yep. I've missed working with you.
Sacrifices.
Jakarth just pulls a boo card out of nowhere.
This is from your deck of many things.
Yeah.
Just a ghost or something. As you head down into the catacombs, you reach the bottom after about 50, 60 feet. It's fairly shallow. The walls are quite makeshift. They've kind of been excavated out, but then and very roughly so, and then inlaid with shale and rocks, and just even the odd bone. It seems like just whatever they pulled out when making this additional area, they've kind of utilized to line the walls and give them a bit more stability as well. A couple of points you reach a fork in the path, but there is generally it's generally a choice between where we can hear the noises echoing from this one and not from this one. Which way do you want to go? It's that kind of choice. I mean, feel free to make the wrong ones if you like. The narration is going to be the same. Railroad? What? Eventually, you start to find some of the sources of these noises. A number of, considering the rushed nature of most of the tunnels, these are much more sturdy, much more. A lot more effort has gone into kind of creating these cages, effectively, to ensure that the creatures that they have brought here stay here for whatever purpose they're holding them for. The creatures within, most of you have never seen the like. Creatures with who have been transformed in horrific ways, usually from humanoid stock, occasionally from quadrupedal stock. You see the odd person that presumably once was a centaur. However, their bodies have been split apart in unnatural places. They've got growths of spikes and scales and all manner of things that wouldn't naturally occur in these people. Arcana, I'm sorry to say, you've seen a fair few of these different mutations in your time. There's a few new ones. It's not like you've seen every mutant that there ever was, but a lot of them you would kind of recognize the strains almost of the what virulent disease has afflicted them. Thankfully, the cages seem to be proof enough to hold them. So unless you were to deliberately try and open any of these, you're not in any immediate danger.
Can I just check? It would have taken more than 10 minutes for us to walk down from the mausoleum entrance to where we are.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, lovely. Along the way, Salem would have been like geeing everyone off and be like,
Yes, you know what? This sounds scary, but I believe that we can all do this. Between everyone's skills, I think we've got the perfect team here. Well done, everyone.
and you all get 14 temporary hit points for inspiring leader.
Nice.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I feel genuinely inspired.
Well, good. I was practicing that before on my own, so I'm glad it worked. Do we think this is good? That there's all these creatures still in cages? Does that mean that they've not been used, or does that mean they've been made already, and that's a bad thing?
These creatures look similar to creatures that Iltron and myself have come across before.
They do.
Look like they've been spliced together, sort of thing, in the same sort of fashion.
Most of them seem to be almost a step evolved from that. So a lot of the creations that you'd seen were more. There was artifice there. There was a deliberate design almost in the parts that were chosen. Whereas this seems more like it's happened on a molecular level, on a cellular level. These creatures have been inflicted with a pathogen of some sort, and that has changed their very fiber to warp them.
Iltron, you don't think this is something that Jorok was looking to achieve ultimately, do you?
Well, I think this is something that was beyond what Jorok was capable of on his own. Unless he found some remarkable source of power. Honestly, it would be impressive if it wasn't so horrific. Well, such things do exist. Like, I don't know, some all-powerful entity from another dimension.
I was just about to say that's some world-eating god.
Does sound not without the realm of probability.
He can't have come back again, surely. Not, especially not in such a short space of time.
I wouldn't have thought that the first time, my friend. But who knows?
Right.
Just looking at the creatures with a kind of mixture of pity and a sense of awe of the power that was capable of achieving this. Like, if it wasn't so unethical, you get the impression that Eltrium would be genuinely wanting to know how it's done.
Is Arcana holding up her hand, or are you holding up your hand?
That's me, just little old Evie holding up her hand. Sorry, I had just a little question of from Arcana's interactions and knowledge, and also research into these sorts of creatures. Are they conscious? Do they retain memory?
From what you're aware, the creatures that come from this that spawn from these diseases, they retain very little of the original host. It's hard to say whether they retain any memories, but certainly they don't respond to their old names. They don't seem to retain any behaviors. It's almost as if whatever host it is that warps them takes over the mind and kind of it becomes the creature from that point.
Moira.
Talia?
I just wanted to check, from a medical standpoint, I wanted to just kind of see how far along all of them were, if there are any that might be, for example, less far along in this, if there are any that could possibly be saved, like if it's a pathogen-based thing.
How close are you looking to get? Because if you were heading up close, I'd definitely suggest you didn't.
Not too, but, you know, doctor...
I'll just keep an eye. I'll be side-eyeing, ready to sort of be like, whoa, if you look like you're going to get within 15 feet of them, sort of thing.
I'll allow a kind of medicine check from a distance, like just giving them a once over.
That is a 21.
21. You feel like it would be unlikely. Whatever it is that has taken these creatures over seems to be so all pervasive that it nothing remains of the original host, and for all intents and purposes, that person died as soon as it became the creature. And there aren't any that are even kind of just a little bit gone. Like by the time they're taken down here, they're the ones that are what they are now.
Yeah, just see if I can make any notes I can, just in case we do see something that shares, like it might be on the process. But yeah, there's nothing left of them.
Just walking up beside you and looking over at them, just saying, it's kind of impressive, isn't it?
Biologically, yes. Ethically, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Ain't that the truth? Still, new form of life. Not everyone can say they've achieved that.
Wait until this is just your Tuesday.
Wait until you've lived it nearly your entire life.
I mean, it's wrong. But in the right hands, imagine the applications. We could save lives, help people.
But what
Something.
about
What was in
people?
that cheese?
There's an odd-looking mold, now that you mention it.
You say that, Eltrion, but what impact do you think it has on the people that it affects?
Oh, I agree with you, Jakarth. There's nothing we can do to save these people. But I'm not even saying it's possible, but if there was a way that this research, this power could be turned to good, isn't that worth exploring?
You might find
With
that
Ragnorra.
some... I know you humanoids seem to have a very strict sense of ethics about these things, but you might find that some people are willing volunteers. We certainly did. Especially if it's for a greater good.
Some of us are not always willing. Some of us have to go for it out of necessity.
So you find the willing ones.
Even willing, there's a range of reasons You might be willing to do whatever it takes to save your life or to move forward, but you're not prepared for the repercussions because you just don't know.
But what if, by willingly submitting yourself for this kind of experimentation, you might save the entire of your race? Would you not sacrifice yourself to save your hive?
You guys want to, after everything is done, take some of these spores, I guess, and do your own experiments on willing participants? By all means, go ham, but leave Ragnorra out of it. This transformation is more of an all or nothing kind of deal. These people are, you're either fully aberration and not you, or you're a person. In my experience, there isn't an in-between.
So what do you suggest we do with the ones that are in the cages? Ignore them for now and think about it later, or do they need releasing?
Permission for the moment. When we're done, let them out their misery.
Very well.
So, just carry on.
Sounds like a plan to me. Just hope nobody opens up these cages and sends them after us, but you're keeping an ear to the ground, so to speak.
I could try and lay a trap of some sort. Does anybody have anything that makes any loud, any like mist tins or anything like that? I could try set up like a string, and if anybody comes into this room and knocks it, that could alert us to their presence, depending on how much further in we go.
It's more like they're kind of inlaid into the walls. So some of the these corridors just have cages just coming off the side, rather than it being a large chamber that you've walked into.
Oh, okay. Right. So there's multiple ways to get to them.
Yeah. Whoever looks like they're the most perceptive, just keep an ear out, okay? And just in case.
I don't have ears, but I will try.
Well, quite. Whatever faculties are available to you will be most appreciated. Quite so. Very lovely antennae, if I may say so myself.
I'll keep an ear out or two.
Well done. Lion's Den.
As you continue the way you were going, so the chambers have been, the corridor's been seeming a lot more worked as you came into the area where creatures are being held. So much less of the roughshod appearance, and it's starting to look much more like this has opened out into an existing basement, perhaps one that already had been carved out, but that has been accessed by the tunnels that have been dug slightly more makeshift. You turn a corner and you can see at the end of this this hallway there is a large gate, a large mostly metal door, two doors, in the middle of which is a relief of a skull with 4 eye sockets. It's not literally a kind of model of the skull, if you kind of imagine just like slightly 3D, but mostly sort of flat, so it only kind of projects about an inch or so. But as I say, a skull with slightly elongated forehead and 2 sets of eye holes, one above each other to make a kind of 4, these 4 eye sockets. It's lit. This chamber is lit by a couple of sconces, and you can see written on a plaque above the door, this portal, just the letters kind of rather than being carved in, it's like they're kind of embellished out, embossed, that's the word I'm looking for, with a phrase: Quadruplet Hijinks Club, wary of Kalemvor's gaze. That is Quadruplet Hijinks Club, wary of Kalemvor's gaze. And I'm going to post that in our players' chat for your reference.
Thank you.
If that is a one big anagram, Sean, that is cruel.
I rolled a d20, Sean, but my real life investigation has a -6 modifier, so I don't have a fucking clue.
I don't expect you to solve my riddles in person live. If you do not wish to, I am more than willing to give hints if you want to roll a stat.
To roll, please.
That is absolutely fine. I'm happy for you to kind of pick a skill that you think would apply in the situation. If you can give me an example as to why this would be the skill that you pick.
Who will pick investigation? Because what is solving a riddle if not investigating for the truth?
Well argued, yeah. Please roll me an investigation check.
Excellent. So that is 25.
25. Okay. By the way, close your ears if you don't want a hint and you want to try and solve it yourself. But for those of you who are going to listen to my first hint, so Arcana kind of mulls the phrase over in her mind a bit, and the choice of words seems strange. You kind of focus in on some of the words that use letters that you're not used to seeing a lot. I can keep going if I'm still being obtuse.
I've already decided that whoever wrote this is evil and must be killed, so it doesn't really matter what it says.
I think Nat is like quadruplet rather than quadruplet or something else. Tsaelin is distracted by thinking, oh, I'm a quadruped. A quadruped hijinks club sounds fun. That is her contribution to this puzzle.
So, to make slightly more obvious what I was hinting at, you notice that this phrase appears to have at least one of every letter. It is not an anagram, it is a pangram.
Well, I must admit. So go on.
So can I roll for hint with being a cleric, please? Oh.
Yeah, a religiosity check for the mention of Kalemvor.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, please make me... I mean, are you arguing for religion, or were you hoping for more wisdom and therefore to your niche-based skill check?
Can I argue for insight?
Yeah, I'll let you argue for
field of religion.
You can insight check the human involvement in this. This.
Why would anyone
puzzle.
do such a thing?
Yeah.
What was their qualia?
Ooh, that's good. That is a 27.
27. Nice.
Very nice.
So, drawn to the religious aspect of this puzzle, you focus in on the mention of Kalemvor, and you look at the skull embossed between the two doors, and you would be aware that some representations of Kalemvor do have this kind of orientation of 4 eye sockets. And in looking at the skull on the door, you start thinking about 4 eye sockets, quadruplet. Maybe the number 4 has something to do with the solution to this.
Sorry, how big are these eye holes? And how far apart are they?
Ooh. The eye holes look like they could comfortably fit a spherical object about kind of maybe golf ball sized.
4-letter E's in the puzzle, if that means anything.
There are.
Maybe it's coincidence.
Are you saying it's easy?
As part of your investigation, I think it would be fair to say that maybe you're kind of investigating, like, just touching the puzzle, seeing if there's anything. And as you pass your hand over one of the E's, it does come loose.
is the actual reaction.
Seize the E's.
The E's, because I was thinking E's for eyes need to be staring at the holes. If the E's come out, maybe put the E's in the eye holes.
Why ahead of you, Toots? Why am I saying Toots?
You're so clever.
As you place the E's into the 4 eye sockets, you do hear a satisfying clicking noise and the hiss of air as a previously sealed chamber is opened. And with the kind of gush of air, you do start to hear noises from the other side of the room. You can hear that there are
Thank God. I thought you were going to say you hear the sound of 100 cages opening behind you.
Not yet. You hear the sound of metal scraping against metal as if it's moving at a very high speed. You can hear crackling, fizzing noises. Slightly more worrying, you hear a kind of strained wheeze from tortured lungs. And you can also hear kind of faint murmuring, almost chanting from a number of voices on the other side. Those of you who... does anyone speak Abyssal?
Oh, I might actually. Hang on.
Yes.
Nope.
Where's my languages? Where are my languages? Yes, I do.
Okay, but those of you who speak Abyssal would understand the words, "We welcome the mother," just repeated over and over. We welcome the mother. We welcome the mother. The doors are not yet open. This is just kind of what has come to you on the breeze.
Bad breeze. Do we think we just stop them talking and that'll be enough, and that'll stop the ritual?
Either we're too late or they're just very enthusiastic.
I like to think that we're just on time.
What was the plan? Storm in, shut them up.
I'm gonna push a button on my... Well, actually, I'm gonna wait until we're absolutely ready to storm in, and then I'm gonna coat my dagger in poison.
Nice.
Okay.
Sean, can we see the room beyond, like, in terms of the size of it?
So if you imagine kind of the 2 doors, you've unlocked it and kind of sealed this room so that you can hear what's going on the other side. Unless you want to tell me that you have done otherwise, there's not enough of a gap for you to peer through just yet.
No.
But I'm happy for you to kind of creak the door open, if stealthily, if you wish. Or you can just blaze in.
think so. I think I would certainly want to have a little bit of a glance.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Okay. Give me a stealth check. See if you can do this without too much noise.
So 1, but I can do something to stop that.
Okay.
There's some sorcery thing, because that can't go well with this door and that roll. Magical guidance. Yeah. So I'm going to use magical guidance, which means that when I make an ability check that fails, and I'm going to assume in that one probably fails, I can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll it, and let's see what happens.
You stay optimistic, David, you know.
I mean, sometimes the plot just wants what it wants, and it makes the dice roll accordingly. So that's a 9 with a +5.
Okay, so 14 in total. It's not too bad. It's above averagely stealthy, but maybe not as quiet as you would have liked. There is definitely a kind of whine from the door hinges as you kind of creak it open, but you feel like with the whirring noise on the other side that you probably have managed to get away with it to a degree. As you creak the door open and you're able to kind of peer through, and as much as this may disrupt the atmosphere, I'm happy for you to kind of do a Scooby-Doo bom, 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 as you all peer around the corner.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but we'll do it seriously. with solemn faces.
As you peer around the corner, Eltron is greeted with a sight that seems quite familiar, not so much to the other four. You can see a large gyroscopic device already whirring at a very fast pace, and you can see that the beginnings of a crackling portal are beginning to open. Arcana would recognize on the other side of that portal the world that she just left behind. Already encroaching through this portal is a creature made of the fused torsos of a number of humanoids, a couple of dozen, just the upper torsos in a kind of horrific mockery of a millipede.
This is our curse. We avoided them. We avoided them before, and now they're here to haunt us, Evie.
Or was this the reward of your arcane eye? I gave you an insight into your future battles. You can see arrayed around this. It's difficult to kind of get a real count, but probably 10 to 15 cultists, including a couple who look more important than the others. Their robes are slightly more embellished, slightly more ornate, and again in a kind of similar fashion to the clergy of Kalemvor. One person does notice the door opening and turns, one of the people in the ornate robes. And a number of you would recognize Deacon Tyria as she turns around and just kind of smiles in a not too reassuring way as she clocks your faces. There's a figure stood next to her, which appears to be a blonde-haired elven man.
Presumably none of us recognize who that is.
Well, unless it's the one who I previously saw the image of.
Yeah. Eltrion would recognize from having gleaned that from the cultist's mind.
It's that bloke whose name I definitely remember.
Mantioch.
Quite.
Oh, this is not the bearded person. No, there was a vision that started to try and resolve itself of a maybe half elven person with
the spectacles,
beard. Yep. But before that, you got a vision of the person that recruited the cultist, and that is the person that stood in front of you.
Cora Grain Crimson. I've got
Cora Grain Crimson.
Oh, Cora. Right, yes.
Question. The fused people coming through portal, I don't recognize any of them as the previous Doomsday Party, do I?
No, you don't.
Okay.
So, because of the way that this creature is fused together, it is literally just the kind of upper torso. And it's almost as if the torso of the next victim has been fused into the bottom of the neckline of the torso behind it.
It's just awful.
In terms of the topography of the room, like how tall is the ceiling and stuff? Are we talking a cavern or are we talking like a crevice?
So the creature coming through the gate is one would say perhaps gargantuan in size. So if you imagine a very large hallway,
Nice.
which again is the arches and the kind of Gothic style architecture is very reminiscent of the Temple of Kalimdor.
Very cool.
I have another question relating to the open doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Is it too late to use the sealing device? Does it all need to be kind of smushed back in first?
It's not too late. You get the sense that this is the weak point that you will need to seal, and then maybe just deal with the creature that's already come through. You can see that from this, where you are is quite close to the last point on the planet that you were there when you were there. So it won't take long for them to kind of summon Ragnorra through if they were to convince her to move herself.
What do we think priorities are? What do we think priorities are? Stopping that creature from coming through any further, or stopping them from chanting anymore? Do we think if we just stop them from chanting, it'll close and the creature will be just chopped up?
Fireball them, stop that thing. Anybody know Fireball?
I know Flame Strike.
Could we just skip?
As you kind of have this quick exchange, Deacon Tyrea just calls out, "Why don't you come in? Join us as we greet the mother."
You could pause for a moment and stop and explain to us exactly what you're doing. No.
Things are underway. There's nothing to stop us from exchanging some pleasantries as we welcome this new phase.
Moira, you didn't know anything about this, did you?
Unfortunately, no. But I haven't been back for very long.
Seems like the entire Temple of Kalimdor is here.
I did not expect to need to clean house.
Jakarth, I have you to thank, actually, because your last delivery opened my eyes, shall we say. She produces from a pocket a jar with what appears to be pickled eyes inside it. I will give this to you because it's plot relevant and I'm not going to roll and risk not happening. You remember that Hera had taken a bunch of eyes from one of the bloat bodies that you'd found. And when asked to, when you went to the Temple of Kalimdor, you gave those eyes to Tyrea. As she, as she's talking to you, she opens the jar, takes out one of the eyes, and as one might put in a contact lens, just pops it in next to her right eye. You can see that the eye kind of moves around, and as she blinks, starts to move in the same way that her other natural eyes do. She puts the lid back on, pockets the jar.
Why would you put a snack in your face?
Best lines.
Big horror. Buff.
All right.
That's what I love about this game. Sorry, Evie.
I can't even boo it.
What the fuck has the Blight got to do with all of this?
The Blight is Ragnar's first signs on this plane.
Why did you put the call out for for people to come back? For people to help?
Because we needed more agents in the field.
You know this stands completely against the principles we're supposed to believe in.
Ragnar has opened our minds to the possibility that everlasting life is also a form of death, and therefore within Kalemvor's path.
You have no idea what everlasting life feels like.
And I believe that we are about to learn what this might entail.
I swear by all of Kelemvor's worth that if you've done anything to Rex or Hera, I will kill you, hunt you down in the underworld and kill you again.
Rex left of his own accord. I've not been keeping tabs on him.
Just
Eltrion, can we?
telepathically, yeah, to everyone else, we'll just be like,
I feel like, can we just go and stab them? I don't think this is going to go well. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Arcana would just step forward and say, I think the time for talking is gone. Cocks the gun, levels it.
I let out a dragon's roar and fire an arrow at her.
Lovely. I think this is the point at which we will take our break, and we will see what happens with the ensuing combat in the ensuing half.
Nice.
I mean, it's not going to be a surprise to you. Everybody knows that I said riddles, and the riddle today is Cora Grain Grimson. You may have guessed. So that is spelt CORAGRIMSON. Once again, CORAGRIMSON. And as a bit of a hint, she's here.
I got it.
And we will see you at the
Got it.
end of the break.
We are delighted to be sponsored by HeroForge. HeroForge offers fully customizable tabletop minis with dozens of fantasy species and thousands of parts to choose from. You can see all of the minis that we designed for this stream in the overlay, and they animate when we enter the combat, so look out for that. HeroForge are fantastic, so do check out the Pro membership where you can get premium access to features ahead of time and beta access to things and all sorts of cool stuff that just makes your life a lot easier. And you can check them out at heroforge.com.
We are delighted to be sponsored by Ultra Pro. They make accessories for D&D, Magic the Gathering, and more. My favourite part of the collection are their figurines of adorable power. Here is their gazer. They also make other things such as deck boxes if you play Magic the Gathering. You can find all of Ultra Pro stuff at ultrapro.com.
Hey friends, check out our new sponsor, Phoenix Dice, for a carefully curated menagerie of click-clack math rocks for your delectation. Check out their entire selection at phoenixdice.com, and just so you know, Phoenix Dice are all about living gloriously in the worlds of tabletop games and sustainably in this one, which means their dice are working to be recycled, their packaging is recycled, the dice are made of sustainable materials. It's all great stuff. You should definitely get involved. You can also join us today in chat with a chance to be in a raffle and win some Phoenix Dice of your own. Just put !dice into chat and you'll be in with a chance to win.
We are proud to be sponsored by Alchemy RPG. Reimagine your gaming experience with Alchemy. They're focused on creating immersive, cinematic experiences everywhere you interact with tabletop role-playing games. You could be playing a game, creating a world, streaming, watching live games, discovering new content. Look at all the cool stuff that they are doing there. You can use environmental motion art, scene-based music, seamless character management to run your games over the internet, with upcoming features including homebrew content, streaming overlays, and spectator mode. So go and check out alchemyrpg.com.
Pick up your gear and open your chests. Throw on your armor and head out on a quest. Hey, hey. It's a brand new day. On the slow coast, your allies will help with blades and bows and magic as well. Hey, hey. Heroes on their way. Fighting together against overwhelming odds. Together invade multiple gods. Idle champions of the forgotten realms. Idle champions, adventure never ends. Idle champions, get your wall and there. Idle champions, you will say it again. Idle champions.
We're delighted to be supported by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, a Dungeons & Dragons strategy video game that brings together D&D characters from novels, adventures, and multiple live streams into a single grand adventure. Select your heroes and formation and battle through waves of monsters for free on PC, phone, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. You can pop !code into chat for a free Electrum test.
We're delighted to be supported by Neverwinter. In Neverwinter, explore and defend one of the most beautiful cities from Dungeons and Dragons' Forgotten Realms campaign setting as it rises from the ashes of destruction. Epic stories, action combat, and classic role-playing await those heroes courageous enough to enter the fantastic world of Neverwinter. Neverwinter is completely free to play, so set yourself up an account today and pop !NW gift into chat for a link to a free gift.
Check out our wonderful supporters Elderwood Academy, who make beautiful bespoke gaming-themed gear, including hex chest dice boxes, spellbook deck boxes disguised as bespoke ancient arcane tomes, and scroll and codex dice tower and rolling tray pairings. Make your own with their online designer at elderwoodacademy.com.
Welcome back to the second half of session 3 of At Death's Door. Last half, our intrepid party finished off interrogating the cultist and then finished off the cultist. They explored some of the catacombs that had been dug out underneath this mortuary type of place. Lots of death-related words. There are probably none of them the right one, but hey-ho. They discovered cages containing some aberrations and continued on their way down the more and more worked paths. They came upon a door which had a riddle, which they solved. And having opened the door, discovered a room on the other side, a very large chamber where a gyroscopic device, very similar to the one that Jorok had used in his demiplane to try and summon Ivid through. Arrayed around it, a number of cultists all chanting in Abyssal, and a couple of others who appeared to be one Cora Grain Grimson, the cult leader, or recruiter as you understand it, but then also one Deacon Tyrea, who appears to have been corrupted by the influence of being in possession of the eyes that had been given to her. And you started off by launching a couple of attacks. So, before we do jump in, we probably want the answer to the riddle, which I know that Nat and Evie got. Did anyone else get? Talia, you got? No. I think Evie, I'll go with you because I know that you aren't as confident with word puzzles as the others, so I would like to give you this chance.
think I've gotten it wrong. I think I actually spoke too soon.
Okay. What did you have? And it's absolutely fine.
Ragnorra is come. It sounds weird.
No, but you're really close. You yeah. Just change the tense.
Has come?
Future tense.
Will come?
I can't remember my own middle now.
There's an ing in there.
Oh, a suffix.
It's a continuous.
Ragnorra is coming?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had it. Your confidence was not misplaced. Indeed, Ragnorra is coming. So that means, as you have now got another set of inspiration, the previous one has expired. I can never remember if we even used them, to be honest. You now have another one. I can't remember the size that I've been giving you. I'm going to give you a D10.
D20, I believe it was.
It was not D20. I will give you a D10, and that is me being nice. That can be used by anyone in the party if you wish to kind of just call out and say, "Oh, I think that we could do with passing this roll." You can add your D10 to it and make that decision as a party. However, that is not what we're doing right now. What we're doing now is rolling initiative, please. And I know that Jakarth was readying a bow. Arcana was readying a shot. Stop stealing the limelight. And at some point, I'll get my notepad back so that I can write all these things down. Because some of us are dinosaurs, and we, do things in this manner. Oh, interesting. Right. Initiative rolls. Who got 20 or higher?
23 for Tsalin.
Okay. Write that a bit lower down.
Oh, I can't count. 22.
Oh, nice. Well, thankfully, I had only written down T and 23. So, grand. Anyone else want to profess a lack of love for math? Or shall I continue with 15 to 20? What did you two get?
I got an 18.
17.
What is what are your modifiers?
18's higher than 17.
I'm possibly asking because you might be sharing with some other people in the initiative order.
Oh, it's plus 20, Sean.
I'm sure it is.
Plus 4.
Plus 5.
I don't believe this. I rolled fucking well on my initiative for once, and now it's like, oh, well, 17 trillion other things I've done better. Like, not happy. I'm not coming anymore.
Okay, hang on.
I didn't mean it that way. I realised what I just said.
I didn't take it that way until you then had to clarify it.
I just spat coffee everywhere. Thanks for that.
I'm just like, I'm a rogue. I'm gonna rogue. I'm very impressed by the cleric being in the 20s, though.
I have actually quite a decent dex, considering it's not my main stat.
Right. I think I'm only missing Arcana. What did you roll?
Rosie 14.
What's your dex modifier?
Plus 4.
Okay. Cool. Then we are off. Cue the abyssal-themed battle music.
What does that sound like?
Before we do anything, who were Jakarth and Arcana doing their held attacks against?
Creighton McBitchface.
Okay. Please make me an attack roll. I'm sorry, Kat, I can't see the stats. You're sat on my monsters.
Am I able to do this with Sharpshooter?
Yes, go on then. You took the feat, then why
That's a
not?
natural 20.
No,
Yes.
you can't. You
For a
can't.
33. Well, it would be 28 with the -5.
It's a multi-shot.
I'm gonna pump everything into this shot.
I'm gonna give you a hint. Don't. Because she had 33 HP.
Well, I might not do 33 damage.
Oh, was it a 33 to
33
hit?
to hit, yeah.
All right, in that case, pump everything in. I got ahead of myself there. I thought that was the damage, and I thought, oh,
Spoilers.
that was a spoiler. Well, you rolled a natural 20. So.
Yeah, so that's that. For some reason, that didn't do the crit, so I need to roll that again. Yeah. Okay. So hang on. That's 20 plus that 26. Favoured foe and dreadful strikes. I'm going to ping her in the back of the mind. Give her a good flick like you do on the bottom of someone's ear. That's 29, and then my I'm going to do one of my superior whack rangers way for a second. Then I would very much like to do a pushing attack and try and push her into Ragnorra if possible. It sends her 15 feet back. She needs to make a strength saving throw. Please, and it'll do an additional DA damage. Hopefully, she dies from this.
I'm gonna give you. If it's only 15 feet that you can push her, you're not going to push her through the thing. But she did only make a 6. So
okay. Well, I did 35 plus the 10 for sharpshooter, so 45 points of damage in total.
There you go. It's almost prophetic. Yes, you have taken her out with your shot. Evie, who's Arcana going to shoot at?
Left.
Well, you've got Cora Grain, or you've got a variety of cultists.
Okay. I don't appear to have. Okay. Okay. I think. Is there other cultists like quite close together? Would you say?
They're kind of arrayed around the room. It's not like they're all in a clump. I learned my lesson. You could get a couple of them if you've got something that affects multiple targets, but
do that. I was hoping to grease the floor and have their first round being Scooby-Dooing, just slip and slide, but that's not happening. So what I will do is I will just fire a firebolt at the big glom.
The huge creature. Please do.
Yep. That is 19 for a 31.
31 to hit.
30, 19 plus 11 to hit, yeah.
It hits.
Yay! Cool.
Roll me your damage.
And I don't have an ally within 5 feet, so I do not get sneak attack.
You don't have an ally within 5 feet of the creature, no.
And because this is a surprise round, I don't get any bonus actions, so it's just a straight one.
Yes, yeah.
So I wanted to check. I rolled pretty well, actually. So 9 plus 8 is 17 fire damage.
Okay. 17 fire damage.
Yes.
As you blast the creature, you notice that its tough skin appears to be proof against the fire. But you learned that early.
As I see that, just the barrel rolls as I change the setting. Later.
Perfect. Right, now we get into the initiative proper, and Moira is up first. No, sorry. It's because I need to write out full names. Tassalin is first. It's a T, which I read as Talia. I'm going to write out his full name. Tassalin. Whose name I still haven't really recognized.
Great. How far away is Cora?
Cora Grain is about 30 foot in to the room.
Great. Handy. Salem will fly over, doing that sort of arcing, spinning fly, like a torpedo spin, fly over to her, and I'm gonna stab her with my dagger,
Awesome.
my venomous dagger. Oh, that's only a 14 to hit.
On Cora Grain, that is not going to hit.
Yeah, that's very disappointing.
Sorry.
Salem's gonna. I think she's just so enthusiastic that she's sort of. She's getting into her spin. She's excited, and then she just kind of overspins and just goes okay, and is just gonna say sorry to everyone else. I missed, and I'm gonna bonus action disengage, I guess.
Okay.
Well, I can't go anywhere, can I? Because I've used my 30 feet to get over to her.
Yeah, so you couldn't.
I'm not going to be invoking opportunity
Dodge?
attacks anyway. Dodge does not put on my. It's a reaction. It's not a bonus action.
I see.
In that case, I have no bonus action, and I'm just there.
Okay. Drawing fire. Moira, you are now up next.
Actually, usually never a good idea for the cleric to go early. Let me. I just want to get rid of Grimson because I feel having the guys in charge is going to be a problem. So let's go big. I have 2 5th level spells now. I am going to aim it so it doesn't hit Cecilin and cast Flame Strike, which is a dex saving throw on their part.
Okay. I will roll that, and that is an 18, I'm afraid.
That's fine, it's still half damage. So that is 4d6 halved.
4d6. Please roll that.
How many d6s do I have? Enough. That is that's great. I can't count. 18 points halved, so 9.
9. Perfect. Okay. Bonus actions?
Don't have anything low enough, so I am just going to kind of hide behind other people so I can get ready to do things later.
Okay, if that's everything on your turn, then it is the cultists next. So, most of them are, because this is quite a large chamber, most of them are a bit too far away to be able to do anything. But, let's see, Tassalin flew in next to Cora Grain, and that's it at this point, isn't it? No, everyone else is kind of more or less in the starting positions. So
yes, I am the meat shield. Fight me, everyone. I can take you all on. Ah!
So there's a couple that are close to Cora Grain, and Cora Grain himself will make attacks on you. The other cultists are just going to kind of run in. They're close enough that when they run in, they can do it, but they've got to kind of use their action to do it. So those of you still at the door are kind of beset upon, and I will make some rolls against Tassalin. So in my head, I know what dice is what. That was cocked. Okay. Does a 12 hit you?
No.
Does a 16 hit you?
No.
Does a 21 hit you?
Yes.
Then, where are my d4s at? Oops. Hello again.
Precious is helping you find the D4s.
That is 8 points of bludgeoning damage from Cora Grain, who is wielding a rather nasty-looking mace with a kind of stone skull worked into the end. As a bonus action, Cora Grain is also going to use Spiritual Weapon on you, and a floating effigy of a four-eyed skull is going to bite you.
Rude.
Yeah, but only for a 12. So
12 to hit or 12 points?
12 to hit.
Okay.
Yes.
Back
Nothing.
off.
Nothing doing.
Just sort of bash it away. No.
That is all of the cultists. And Cat, you can't sit there.
I think you'll find she can.
Can and will, says Cat.
David, Eltrion is up next.
Coolly. Am I?
Yes. Were you?
Jakarth had an 18. I had a 17.
Yeah, I think it's me first.
Okay, I wrote you the wrong way round. I'm doing well today.
It probably would have made more sense because then I could have given you the. But it's fine. We'll stick with it.
Sorry,
Fine,
I
just
literally
pretend we didn't say anything.
Oh no, don't worry about it, mate. It's fine. You've got so many things to keep track of.
I mean, yes, but I should also be able to remember which voice said which number, which I apparently am unable to do. Okay, Josh.
I'm going to look to Eltrion and say, give me a boost, and then I'm going to fire 2 arrow shots at 2 random cultists.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Held the numbers. Sharpshooter! I apologise for that abysmal singing. That's a 17 to hit on the first one.
Rangers in disguise.
And
arrows in your eyes.
26 to hit.
26 will also hit.
That is going to be 21 points of damage on the first one.
You puncture one cultist.
And the second one will be I'm going to add my Dreadful Strike score. That is going to be 25 points of piercing damage.
You perforate another one. Yeah. Down straight away.
And then I'll sort of have my foot up, ready to hop onto whatever Eltron decides he's going to do next. I know what it is, but the audience doesn't. So,
are you? Yeah, you don't even know how this is going to work.
Nope.
Okay, so you are holding presumably a movement for whatever it is that you two have discussed in the break. Okay, well, put us out of our misery then, if that's the end of Jakarth's turn. What is Eltrion indeed going to do?
I'm not going to bother with any of this cantrip malarkey. So, Eltrion will sort of step forward, say, "A boost you want, is it? Let's see what I can do." There's a sense of psionic energy beginning to pool. And what I'd like to happen is this. A sort of 10-foot little gate opens below Jakarth's feet. And as he feels like he's going to fall into it, a beast begins to corporealize between his legs. A 10-foot high beast, a 10-foot long beast. And it forms into the shape of what looks like a red dragon.
Come on. Is this literally, are you summoning a dragon? What spell is this?
This is, what do you call it? Summon Draconic Spirit.
Uh-huh.
So it's
okay.
a spirity dragon. But,
nice.
Yeah, it seemed fitting given the lineage and the history. And as is, very much heroic. My bonus action, I'm going to establish a telepathic bond with my dragon so that I can speak into its mind. And like the hero that I am, I'm going to just hide around the corner again.
Okay.
I'm out of the way. It's fun. Like a hero. A strategic positioning.
People will paint murals of this heroic moment from Eltrion. I'm sure.
Oh, it'll be sung of by bards. Boldly brave Sir Eltrion.
I will charitably say that a couple of the cultists that were swarming towards you are the ones that got arrowed in the head. So there are no opportunity attacks as you disappear heroically, of course.
Oh yeah,
behind the door.
Very well. It's a concentration spell, so it's really I'm thinking of Jakarth at this point.
You don't want him falling on his arse.
I mean, who does? That'll be my turn. The Draconic Spirit takes its turn immediately after mine.
Go for it.
So, in terms of forgive me, I always need to be caught up in these things because my mind doesn't quite capture all of the information. So we've got random NPCs running at us, culty types. The priest was taken out.
Yeah, Tyria was taken down almost immediately.
Cool. My dragon can fly. Can it fly into a position where, let's say, a 30-foot cone would hit a lot of these things potentially?
I would say that because a number of them have and kind of entered this fight, you could probably get 4, 5, I'd say.
Cool. So the first one, I've got a melee attack, which is 10-foot reach. Mm-hmm. So I get 2 of those bad boys. So I'm just going to aim at the first cultist that's, when it's within 10 feet, having kind of moved around, if you like, to fire up the juice.
Mm-hmm.
Be a plus 10 to hit. So that's a 29.
That'll hit.
And second attack would be a 17.
Also hits.
Sorry, I've not used this spell before.
It's all right.
1d6 plus 4 plus 5. 1d6 plus 9. Okay, so that's 2d6 plus 18. Because they both hit. So that's 21 points of melee weapon attack damage. Doesn't say slashing or anything, so I just presume standard damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then breath weapon, which was destructive energy in a 30-foot cone. Now, I can use any kind of energy that the dragon would have resistance to, and having seen the ineffectiveness of fire, we're gonna acid up this bad dragon.
Okay.
So dexterity saving throw versus 18.
I will do this. I've got my 5 dice. Right. The highest of those is a 20, non-natural.
Cool.
That is the only one that gets above your DC. The rest fail.
Okay, so the ones that fail will all take 5 acid.
Okay.
And the other will take half, which, depending on how you want to round it down or up, it will either be 2 or 3.
I will be consistent. I round down for you. I round down for them.
Cool. Then the remainder of the movement will be used, because we're not in opportunity attack range of melee, will be used to fly up to the ceiling and give Jakarth as much of a view of the battlefield as possible. And that is it.
Perfect. All right. Following Eltrion, it is Arcana, because you won a tie with the abyssal creature.
Excellent. So for my action, I'm going to take out of my bag Barbara. Set her down, sew up the little bag very, very quickly in less than 6 seconds. And she has now become my Force Ballista. Ballista? That's how you say it.
Yeah.
And and that's my action. She looks a little bit different this time. She's still pink and horned and adored and adorable, but her eyes, when she opens them, are actually blue this time, just to signify the slight difference. She's going to waddle forward 10 feet and open her beak very, very wide with a mwah kind of noise as sort of fire and attack roll at the horrible thing.
The humanoid centipede.
Awesome.
So I have a plus what to hit? Spell attack, so it's plus 11. So 18 plus 11. I can't maths. Hit?
29, but it hits.
Ooh, and that is 2d8 force damage, and it's pushed 5 feet backwards.
Mm.
Just no save, just it's pushed 5 feet back.
Sweet.
4, 5, 6, 7 force damage. So it's not very much, but
no worries at all. I was very confused. I was looking. I was like, "Why?" I swear that the creature took some damage. No, it was fire. It did not. And that was force, which seems to work. Sorry, I said that in a very uncertain way. That worked. No subtext there. Force damage is on the good list. Anything else? Is that action and bonus?
that was action and bonus action.
Perfect. In that case, it is the creature's turn. You kind of blast it with this force push, and it stumbles backwards slightly into the back into the portal that's opening, but redoubles its efforts and is going to surge forward. Its speed is such that it will be able to surge forward at least to Salin. I think it's not quite. I hadn't kind of elaborated the exact measurements of the room. I'm going to say that the chamber is about 80 foot. So if Jakarth was literally kind of trying to fly right at the top, would be kind of well out of the creature's range, even at the size of it. The creature will take a couple of attacks at Tessalin, though. So the first is a grasping hands attack, and it is going to try and grip you in some of its upper torso limbs, which will be... Didn't roll well on the dice, but I do have a nice little modifier, 22.
Oof. Yeah, no, that will hit.
Right.
Remove your hands from me. Don't you know who I am?
Right. That is 21 points of piercing damage as these kind of putrid nails, sharpened presumably on the tough ground of the rocky tundra it's just emerged from, pierce into your arms as it grips you.
If I'm grappled, can I uncanny dodge?
I'm going to say yes because it is uncanny.
Thanks. Great.
That is all of the reasoning I feel that I need. How did she do that? Uncanny, isn't it?
That's 10 then instead of 21.
Cool. As you well guessed, though, you are gripped by a number of this creature's limbs. So you are restrained and just restrained. No, and grappled and restrained. Yeah. It is then going to its tongue, which you can see kind of has dried and hardened, and there are kind of rasping serrated ridges on it. The tongue is going to lash out at you and try to grip you, to pull you in to be an additional torso.
Oh no. You don't want me. I have a insectoid husk instead of skin.
Does a 17 hit you?
No.
I did not roll well that time. Yeah, so you managed to kind of move yourself in such a way that even though it's gripping you to it, you don't get swallowed.
No carapace for you, Hansy.
That is its turn. So we go back to the top of the round, and to Salin, it is your turn.
I would like to try and stab myself free, please.
Okay, I'm glad that you added free to that.
Just like, no, I just like this. Come on, dice. Okay, that's better. That's a 21.
21 hits.
Okay.
I assume you're attacking the creature gripping you.
Yes, yeah. But I guess the intention is she's trying to, if she's being grappled by hands, she's trying to stab at the hands. Just like, no, get off.
Cool. And just to mechanically, you can attempt a DC to escape. Are you trying to escape rather than to do damage, or are you? This is just your reaction to try and stab and try and get out.
No, she's stabbing to damage.
Okay.
And if the hand happens to let go of her because of that, then great. But she's not trying to like forcibly remove herself.
Okay, cool.
With strength.
Just wanted to be clear on the mechanics before we did any other further rolling.
Sure. Okay, so base damage. Ooh, spicy. That's 10 piercing, and then plus. I don't know if it'll take it, but it's 2d10 poison damage.
Okay. Poison seems fine.
Oh, great. Then it takes 14 poison damage on top of that. And then, I forgot. I should be having advantage because I'm a swashbuckler. I mean, it didn't matter this round, but I should have done it the last round.
So, I mean, roll it now and see if you get a crit.
No, I do not.
Well,
I do get my sneak attack though, right?
Yes, as a swashbuckler, but you only need advantage on the attack.
Yeah. So that's an extra 5d6. Which, when they settle, comes to a grand total of any minute now. 13 sneak attack damage.
Cool.
Thank you.
Sweet. Yes, you do indeed stab away. So that was interesting. 24 plus the 13. It does drop you.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, well, in that case, I will bonus action disengage and fly up 15 feet. Please.
Sweet. Okay. Right. Well, yeah, perfect. That's everything on your turn. Moira, you're up next.
Since we've got people on, like, in the air now, I want to move forward, but I want to wall walk forward so that I'm closer to the top as well as the bottom in case, I don't know, healing's needed in random directions, so that I'm just now walking on the walls.
Okay.
And then move forward, and I want to cast Bane on Grimson and the creature and a random nearby cultist. Because it's a 3. So.
Fine, absolutely fine. Is there do they get a save or it just happens?
It is a charisma, I think, for Bane. I'm just going to say I don't think that any of them are very charismatic. They're not charismaing me at any rate.
I mean, you might be right there, but I still want to try. Okay, so Coragrain is the blue, the creature is the red, the cultist is the bland see-through. That was barely a roll, I just dropped them. I'm going to redo that because they would have all been passes. And I think that's not fair. Right. Did we determine it was charisma?
Yes.
Cool. So the creature got a sum total of 12, and both of the others rolled less than 10 on the dice, so I don't imagine their modifiers are going to help them. No and no.
Yeah. Okay, so creature, grim, and random nearby cultist close to Salin, I guess,
cool.
Are all baned.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's my action. That is my movement, and I don't have any bonuses I can do because that was a spell. So I'm just gonna chill on a wall.
Cool.
Being very mad.
Right. After you, it is the cultists. I'm going to start off with Coragrain. Coragrain is going to start sending his spiritual weapon up. So, so you flew above the creature, which is gargantuan, and I think I want to say that's like 60 foot or thereabouts in terms of. So you're pretty dang high up. It's going to take ages actually for the.
It depends on. I mean, as much as I don't want to be in range of this spiritual weapon, but it depends on if the creature lifted me up while it was grappling me. Because if it didn't, I was on the floor when I attacked Cora, then was grappled, and then would have just flown 15 feet up and away. So it would just be 15 feet in the air and still below where this thing was.
Technically, rules-wise, I don't think it would. I think it would just be kind of holding you in place. If you flew kind of up and away, it still won't get to you, but yeah, you're kind of, you just got this skull kind of coming towards you again. Cora Grain, with its actual action, is going to move towards, let's see, there's very few people who are actually on the ground at this point. Going to move towards, actually, why am I doing this? It's just going to use, yeah, all right. Sorry, you're not going to like this.
You say that as if we've been jumping for joy for everything else you've been doing this combat.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you'll like this less than some of the stuff that I've done. Please, Talia, please could you make a wisdom saving throw?
Cool.
It's probably not actually as good a move as I'd hoped, because I've just seen what the save DC is.
That is I can't, 22.
Yeah, you're fine. You feel kind of magical energies encircling you, but whatever the effect was that they were going for, it has not taken hold. So yeah, I'll tick off that spell slot, and we will all carry on with our day. Right.
No, it could have gone the other way.
It could have. It didn't. Right. Cultists are going to make some attacks, and it's going to be just people kind of surging forward towards the people who are still on the ground. So Eltrion and Arcana.
I mean, I'm very much hidden outside the room.
Yeah, you've gone outside the room, but like they saw you duck out there, so they're just going to follow you.
Okay, but what I mean is that going to incur opportunity attacks from Arcana? Because
did Arcana stay towards the door?
Straight forward a little bit, but still nearish the door, probably within 15 feet of it.
I will say that one of them, yeah. So feel free to make an attack, and it will be on one of the acid ones.
Okay, cool.
Yep, just opportunity attack.
Cool. That's I rolled another 18 with plus 11, so
yeah, that hits.
Yeah. Would I? No, you don't get sneaks on ops. No, you don't. Cool.
No.
Okay, so
I suspect you won't.
Swapped out Firebolt though for the other one, which is Ray of Frost. So it's 2d8 instead.
Nice.
Very good.
I could have just used that as a gun. What am I've rolled it now.
I mean, it's still a cantrip. It's not costing you anything.
No, but that would have been probably more damage with the gun. 4, 5, 6. That's 7 frosty boy damage.
Yeah, you mow a cultist down before they are able to reach Eltrion. So you will only take the one attack due to that. But Arcana, there are two kind of coming directly towards you. You wouldn't get an opportunity on them, obviously. So could that save yourself?
Arcana.
The one attacking Eltrion makes a very feeble 7 to try and hit you.
Oh, it doesn't even break my AC, which is terrible.
7 to hit Arcana. 15 to hit Arcana. None of it.
None of it.
There you go.
Just imagining Arcana just like matrixing this shit. Blasting some fool.
This is exactly what happens. Cool. Well, it being the cultist's turn, that means it's Jakarth up next.
How many cultists are left now? Would we say?
About 10. There were quite a few of them in the room.
Yeah, I know that obviously the big thing is a big threat, but Jakarth's thinking about the vials and doesn't want them to pop vials and have 10 of those things. So I'm going to take 2 more shots at 2 more cultists.
Perfect, please do.
I'm just going to roll these ones normally because I'm just getting used to being on the dragon at the minute. So that's a 30 to hit on the first one.
Yep.
And a 24 to hit on the second one.
Yep.
The first one is 9 points of piercing damage.
Are you going for healthy ones or are you going for acid ones?
I'll go for acid ones.
Cool.
We're sort of working in conjunction with the dragon. And then the second one will be... Well, I'll do the dreadful strokes for this one. So it's 14 plus, 15 points of piercing damage.
Yeah, 2 more go down.
Just going around and just pinging the arrows off and hitting them wherever the acid has caused weak points.
Perfect. Grand. Yeah. Anything else on your turn?
Nope, that's it.
Cool. Right, well, following Jakarth, hot on his heels, Eltrion.
Cool. Am I in a position where I can see Arcana and the 2 on her, or am I literally just got cultist in my face?
No, I think that you're kind of close enough to the door that you could you can still see Arcana. Yeah, you can't see Moira on the wall, but
fair. Okay. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to twin spell. Dissonant Whispers at 2nd level and target the one next to me and the one and whichever one looks healthiest next to Arcana. I need a whiz save 18.
2 wisdom saves.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 6 and a 13.
Cool. They both fail. In which case they take theoretically 11 points of psychic damage.
Perfect. Both of them
use their reaction to move as far as the speed allows away from me.
Okay. They both kind of start trying to undertake this action, stumbling away from Arcana, but before they've even moved their whole movement, they fall down to the floor. Adib.
Nice. In which case, I do bonus action. Is the other one that isn't dead, is that within 30 feet of me? Because Arcana was 15 feet inside the door, right?
Sorry, is it within 30 feet?
Would it be within 30 feet? Because if Arcana was 15 feet inside the door and I was just outside the door, and then I moved it should be, right?
Yeah, I mean, there'll definitely be someone nearby.
So what I'd like to try and do then is telekinetically shove that one so that it breaks the 5-foot gap so that Arcana can move without incurring opportunity attacks, should she so wish.
Cool.
Because that's all I can see at the moment. That's a strength save, DC 17.
Well, I had to roll well at some point. Not at this point, but at some point I will. That was a 10.
Oh, okay. So there's a psychic kind of fist that comes out of my head and just shoves the cultist back 5 feet.
Cool.
And I could try and give a little nod to Arcana, like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Sweet.
Your psychic fist.
Yeah, he gives you a psychic salute.
There's no damage associated with that, is it?
It's just a bonus action economy thing.
Sweet. Yeah. All happens. Is everything on your turn?
Yeah, I think as well. I'm just gonna, move 10 feet back from the door so that I can see things. But I'm also I can hear in case there's any creatures coming from behind us and give people a warning.
Perfect. All right. That's everything on your turn then. Arcana.
Dragon.
Oh, dragon. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just going to rewrite this so that I remember, but carry on.
That's all right. It's my fault. Very, very quickly with the dragon, I'm just going to go and try and attack the nearest cultist with a 10-foot reach. And if... actually, there's not many cultists left, are there? But Jakar did raise the point about them all taking vials and stuff.
So you flew the dragon up.
Yeah, to the top.
To the top, which I think we said was about 70, 80 feet. So what?
In which case, I couldn't go to the top. I could have gone probably about 30 feet up, 40 feet up, depending on how much movement I used before. In which case, should we say 40 feet?
I'm happy for 40.
Cool. So I'll go back down so that I'm 10 feet above. I think I agree. Let's take cultists out. Try and hit one with rend. It's 21 to hit.
Yep.
And 26 will hit.
Yep.
That is 2d6 plus 8 plus... I say 2d6 plus 18. Okay. 24 points of dragon damage.
Cool. That will absolutely eviscerate someone.
Nice. And then just cone whoever I can left. If I can catch the big one in it as well, grand, but...
You could get the big one and one cultist, or you could get 3 cultists.
Oh, I think 3 cultists then. I mean, we're better off minimizing our odds so that we can focus. So that would be Dex save 18.
Dexterity, they're slightly better at that. The highest of which is a 15.
Okay, that misses. So they all take 7 points of acid damage, which is better than nothing.
Cool. None of them go down from that, but they're not happy.
No worries. And fly back up the remaining 20 feet. So with the 10-foot reach, I'll be 30 feet in the air.
Cool.
And that's that.
In that case, now Arcana, it is your turn.
Cool. Can you give me a lay of what's right in front of me at the moment?
So there is a cultist that got psychic face palmed out of your way, directly in front of you. There's another one kind of near the door that was flailing wildly and ineffectively at Eltrion. There's 3 that have just been kind of exhaled on by the dragon, which has flown back up 30 feet. Just beyond that, there is the abyssal creature, the tail end of which has just kind of emerged from the still open portal. And you've still got Corrigain Grimson and his skull spiritual weapon, which is inexorably chasing down to Salin.
Okay. We're doing all right, actually. Yeah, we're doing fine. I can't stop the big beastie getting further in because I can only push it 5 feet back in at this point. So it's probably better to go for the big guns, like the big cultists. So I will do a scorching ray at the big guy himself, the big spiritual weapon, and 2 of the Ickle Wickle cultists who are nearby, the one flailing in the corner and the one in front of me.
Perfect. Please do.
Ooh. And that is, where is my D20? There it is. Okay, that is a 21 to hit. And I do
21 hits.
21. That was a nat 20 on the next one.
Blimey. Are these all on Corrigain?
Oh yeah, I can put them all on the same person. Sorry, I've not used this spell before. Yeah, I'll put them all on Corrigain then.
Do you want to roll the damage, see if he falls over, and then reassign?
Okay, sure. So the first one is 5, 6, 7, 8 for the first one.
Okay, still standing.
And for the crit, do I roll the dice twice?
Yes, roll the dice twice. You've got better odds.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 on the second one.
14 is still standing, but is looking not very happy.
The final scorching ray on him is a maths 18 to hit.
Yep, 18 hits.
Ooh. 5, 6, 7. There's another 8 damage.
Coragrain goes down, and the skull chasing down Salin fizzles out.
Wonderful.
Excellent work.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, I am going to. Yeah, I'm just gonna do another thing with Barbara. She's just gonna fire at another the creature again with the force.
Perfect. Please do.
So that is 27 to hit.
27 will hit. Roll me your damage.
I rolled 2d8s and I got 8s on both of them. 16 force damage, and it's for all the good it will do. Pushed 5 feet back in.
No worries. You see the hands kind of at the bottom just kind of try and dig their nails in and just screech on the floor as it is pushed back 5 foot. Sweet.
Sean, I have a question about this creature. So obviously it's made up of humanoid torsos.
Mm-hmm.
But you say it's also gargantuan. Does that mean it's gargantuan because it's just incredibly long? Or are they all like glommed together, creating like a wide centipede?
So in my head, it kind of grows. So all of the back segments are kind of slightly bigger than the next torso in line. So it kind of, if you were to lie it out straight, it would be almost kind of conical, going from like very large oldest torso to smaller, very recent kill on the end.
I'm just trying to figure out whether it were, even though I'd flown 15 feet up, if I was still within. I probably wasn't still within range of it to get an opportunity attack, so it's fine. My brain was doing, is it massive, but how? But that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think, do you mean because it was pushed back 5 foot?
Oh, but force movement.
Force movement.
Yeah. Doesn't matter anyway.
But, we like hypotheticals. Or do we? Discuss. I'm heckling myself now. What's going on? Barbara just shot at the thing. Is there anything else on yours or Barbara's turn?
I don't think so, no.
Sweet. In that case, it is the creature's turn, and it is. If Salin's not that high up, and I mean Jakarth isn't that high up either. Odds to Salin, even Jakarth. Odds
Can
to Salin.
attack the dragon as well.
Okay.
I
will. All right, I will take that into account.
Yeah.
1-2 Salin. No, this is fair. Killing the thing that the thing's riding on is another valid tactic. 1-2 to Salin, 3-4 to Karth, 5-6 thing. It's going for the dragon. Look, going for the more threatening or tastier looking creature, shall we say. Okay, so
which dragon? There's 2.
The threatening one, Josh.
Excuse me.
Rude.
Does a 16 hit the dragon?
It does not.
I had a feeling I rolled very poor. I'm rolling very, very poorly. Does a 50? No, 18. Does an 18 hit?
I don't believe so. I think it has a AC of 19.
Jeez.
Holy moly.
So I don't. It's 5th level, so.
It's 8 higher than mine.
14 plus level of the spell. natural armor. So yeah, AC 19.
19. Wow. Okay. I have done very poorly. That's what
The
happened.
dragon's like, I will save you, Jakarth. Ching ching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
clearly.
also made, so even if it had.
You better believe I was going to silvery barbs to protect Draco.
You watch then as it kind of flails towards Jakarth, and the dragon, through some aerial maneuvers, manages to just duck and dive out of the way, and failing to get anything. You watch as some of the larger arms towards its middle start scrabbling at the bare stone of the chamber, and begin pulling up the bare rock. And as it starts to tunnel down, it gets about 20 foot into the rock and is just kind of burrowing in like a tick. That's what it does on its turn. Back to the top of the round to Salen.
No. Where are you going? Come back. Stay and fight.
Ah! I'm going to fly down and stab it.
Okay, please do.
To the tune of... Oh, my rolls are rubbish today. That's a whole... No, I realised I don't get advantage. It's only if I steady aim. I give myself advantage, but then I get the benefit of sneak attack if I'm alone with a creature or if I've got an ally within 5 feet. It doesn't give me advantage on the attacks. So it wouldn't have affected anything anyway. But that's a whole 12.
12 to hit does not, unfortunately, hit.
Yeah, I don't think so. Great, good. I guess I'm gonna disengage and get out of its reach, and I'd shake my fist at why I can't stab twice.
Yep. No multi-attack for rogues, unfortunately. Well, while we despair at this clear injustice, it's not an injustice. Moira, it's your turn.
Cool. Salen, how are you doing on health?
Not too bad.
Cool. Okay, if you're fine, then I'll do a spiritual weapon at... I'm going to focus on the creature. So spiritual weapon on the creature, and then toll the dead.
Cool. What level are you casting spiritual weapon at? Just at second, or?
What do I got? Do third, because I feel like it.
Cool. That wasn't supposed to be a leading question, just, for avoidance of chat.
I just need to think about it, decide it, yeah. Spiritual weapon, third level.
Void.
My non-Euclidean, just swirling massive shapes.
Cool.
God, I can read. Oop. That is going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
Dirty 20 will indeed hit.
Ooh. And then that is 1d8. I can read. That's not it. 9 points of radiant. Is it radiant? Yeah, 9 points of damage.
Cool.
Oh no, just blood. Why am I being really bad at reading this today?
Spiritual weapon, is it force?
Yes, it's force, and I don't know. I think it's because I've got the Toll the Dead stuck in my head, which is necrotic, but I'm just thinking about cleric stuff. Yeah, so 9 points of force damage, and then a Toll the Dead.
Cool. Which is a save?
That's a save. So
15
minus a d4.
That's right. Well, I rolled a 15 on the dice, minus a 4, so yeah, 11.
Cool. So that is 2d12 worth of necrotic damage, and also me checking and Roy checking if necrotic damage is actually going to hurt this thing.
That is on the nice list, yeah. Depends on your perspective. It's not nice for me.
Is nice for me and things I have on my spell list, but also that is 21 points of necrotic damage.
Nice.
A cantrip, baby.
Cool, that is maths that I can definitely do. Awesome.
And moving forward, so I'm actually getting closer, but still kind of like angling to be... I'm trying to angle on the wall so I'm close to up and down and but not get hit by things. I'm doing my best.
Are you trying to come around kind of like the side of the chamber at this point?
Yeah, I kind of just want to angle round.
Sweet.
Coming to it, but yeah. At some point, I'm going to just jump on the thing.
Cool. Right. If that's everything on your turn, I have precisely 3 cultists left. No, 4 cultists left.
Or?
I mistook the one that was baned for being, I don't know, dead. I've got Arcana on the floor, and I've got very little else. Eltrion's kind of moved back and out of interest range, so I think I'm going to just have 3 cultists going for Arcana, and 1 is going to go for Barbara.
Barbara, no!
No!
I rolled very much like myself, though. I think, unless your AC is 9, only one of those hit you, and then that is a... So one got a dirty 20 and hit you, 1 got a dirty 20 and hit Barbara.
Damn it! And Barbara's AC is better than mine, by the way. But the one hitting me, I'm going to use my reaction to use a shield, so it doesn't hit.
Cool. I didn't specify which one had the Bane, and Bane happens on attack rolls as well, doesn't it? I'm going to charitably say that the one hitting Barbara is Bane, hence the poor life choices. That's a 15 instead.
Hit. Barbara's AC is 18.
So
adopted the D20.
Hang on.
Little Bane joke there.
Sorry, I minused off of the dice, and I forgot to still include the modifier. That was 20. It was dirty 20 taken down to an 18 because I rolled a 2. You can see my 2. You probably can't see my 2. So the AC is 18.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Barbara,
should have had
no!
it. Well, thankfully they don't hit hard, or do they?
That was a roller coaster of emotions there. Barbara, no, yellow.
And there's 4 slashing damage as the cultist uses a it says a scimitar, but I'm imagining this being as they're kind of masquerading as Kalemvorites. It's kind of like a war scythe, just like shoop, but not.
Just blood.
Imagine that Barbara has like a cool scar over one eye now.
The RPG scar.
Was that a slight spoiler there, Sean? Did you say they were masquerading as Kalemvorites rather than it actually being Kalemvorites?
I mean, you know, the words that we use.
They're certainly masquerading as a threat.
Sure.
I take emotional damage. That is the cultist's turn, and Jakarth follows.
Jakarth is going to fire 2 shots at the cultists that are... Jakarth is going to take 2 shots at the cultists that are attacking Arcana.
Okay.
Oh, sharpshooter!
They're all burned, but do you want to look to go for the ones that look more acid damaged, or still acid damaged but slightly less so?
The one's slightly less so.
Okay.
I want to give the dragon something to jump on. So that's a 27 to hit.
Hits.
And a 26 to hit.
Hits.
The first one is 22 points of damage.
Dead.
The second one is going to be 18 plus my critical strikes. 22 points of damage.
Sweet. That is precisely 20 points of overkill.
I'm imagining these all being like John Wick headshots.
I mean, if we're going by like massive damage, that was 3 times into negative and then some. So.
Oh, they're definitely getting up from that. Then just imagine that instead of them like hitting them, their bodies falling to the floor. I'm just like pinning them to the wall. They're all still stood up.
It was somehow, even though it was a bow and arrow, it was the John Wick special of somehow also hitting him in the groin before the dispatch.
One of them just ricochets off, goes in the groin, and goes out the head.
Yes.
There we go. Gory. There's gore for you.
Yeah.
That's my 10.
Perfect. After Jakarth, surely Eltrion shall follow.
Surely indeed. Right. Well, this big McNugget looks like it's trying to make a play to escape and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Eltrion will summon some looks like quite a painful amount of power, and from his forehead will burst forth, nay unto itself, a psychic lance, which will striketh at the creature, which rolleth an int save with disadvantage.
Okay. I shall indeed do that.
These days, Athena is just going to spring from your forehead.
I would like that.
I would love to have some statistics on how often this happens. So with disadvantage, on the 2 dice, I rolled a critical success and a critical failure.
Oh.
So being at disadvantage, yes, that will be a
never
1
were
for
3 sorcery points better spent.
Yeah. That is a -1 with my modifier taken into account.
Goodness me. Unfortunately, that won't make it worse, but hopefully it will be reasonably bad. First off, 25 points of psychic damage.
25?
Yep.
Points of psychic damage?
Yep.
I'm sorry to say it doesn't look phased.
Fine. The secondary effect will still take place because it can suck my dick. It's restrained.
Okay.
0
Nice.
movement, disadvantage on attack rolls, and attack rolls against it have advantage. So Eltrion will be like, well, feckin' Alex. That'll do. Have at it, dragon.
And yeah, speaking of dragon.
Yeah, well, dragon's just gonna attack the back end of this center butt.
It's kind of burrowing down from the middle, so it's kind of the top end is sticking out.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah. I mean, let's go for the top end. So this is advantage because you never know, might get a crit. So 22 to hit.
Hits.
And then the second roll is a nat 20.
Yeah.
So that'll do. I mean, it's a nat 20 of not a lot. Cool. There's no point rolling that one again. Sorry, I'm just checking exactly how many dice I rolled. I think it's 2d6. Yeah, 2d6 plus. Okay, right. Well, I'll do the crit one first, so that's fun. And that's max damage. Yay! 12 plus 8 plus 5. So 12 plus
12 plus 8 plus 5, 25.
12 plus 8 plus 10. Sorry, because it's all doubled, isn't it?
So
or would
yeah,
it just be the dice roll that's doubled? Yes.
It's just the dice roll, not the modifier.
Not the modifier.
Yeah.
I don't know what the modifiers are on this. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, it's just the normal one. So that'd be 12 plus 4 plus 5. So 12 plus 9 is 21, and then the second attack is 3 plus 4 plus 5. So 3 plus 9, which is 12. So 21 plus 12 is 33 points of dragon. And then breath weapon, DC Dex, DC 18.
Dex.
Yeah.
Not good at Dex. 6.
Will not do it. So that's a further 9 points of acid damage. So
Acid is fine.
if I aggregate the dragon and myself together, that was an effective turn. And I will now, yes, the dragon flappy uppy up, and so that Jakarth has a very clear headshot should it come to that.
Okay.
Okay.
And the dragon. Did the dragon get within 10 feet to hit?
It's reached 10 feet, so it wouldn't have to go within 10 feet. I think, as the rules are, it's literally.
I also have reached 10 feet though, so I am going to. If you got within 10-foot reach for
Hey,
you.
you're the DM. It's totally your call.
That is a 29 to hit with grasping hands.
Silvery bulbs.
Fair enough. It is a 15.
Doesn't it?
Fair. Who are you giving advantage to?
Ooh, good question. Who's coming up next? It's Arcana, isn't it?
It is.
Do your attacks count with the gun count as like attacks, or are they spells? I.e., would an advantage be useful?
Not for what I'm going to do next.
Fine. And Moira's more likely to use spells as well. So to Salen, I think.
I technically get advantage anyway now because you've pinned it.
Oh, in which case, Jakarth. I don't want to say like, oh, Jakarth, you have the advantage because I wanted to offer it to everyone else. But I was like, no, I don't need it. It's fine. Okay. Well, Jakarth, you have it.
We'll take it later at some point, but not for what I want.
Totally fair.
Cool. That is grand. All of the things. Perfect. Everything on your turn?
That's everything.
In that case, Arcana, you follow the dragon.
How is the long boy looking?
Less than half baked.
And if I had to guess how well it would do on, for example, a Constitution saving throw, does it look like it might do well?
It does look pretty tough.
You feel like you know that it might have disadvantage against, say, dex saves.
It is also baned, so,
Yeah.
Give it a go. Just see if it works. I will go a bit further into the room so that there's more space. There's less space between the rift portal and me. And I will, make a con save, please.
I will make a con save. That is, with Bane. 19.
Okay, nothing happens. Flips the
Sorry.
gun. Ah, shoot.
Yes, that's what you do with your gun.
Oh, yes, it's true. I can do that. So then I've still got that still takes a spell slot. God damn it. I've still got bonus action. So with that, I will. What is a bonus action, really, when you think about it? Yeah, I guess I'll just force Ballista again.
Okay. Is that a save from me, or is that an attack from you?
That's an attack.
That's what I thought.
Advantage then.
Thank you. Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Roll double.
The other was a 2.
Roll all your dice twice.
Any damage against this thing, I'm taking as a personal act of vengeance on my behalf for it being fucking immune to psychic damage.
I mean, I'm sure you won't believe me when I tell you I didn't pick this because it was immune to psychic. I picked it because it was thematic, and then I was like, oh, immune to one of your favorite things.
If it was anybody else, Sean, I wouldn't believe them, but you're such a genuinely nice guy that I will accept it was a coincidence.
Was 24 force damage and pushed 5 feet backwards.
Woohoo!
Nice.
Get out of that pit.
And as you start blasting the creature that's been kind of psychically held in place, you will become aware of a buzzing sound in your ears, and you kind of look around for the source of the buzzing, and you can see that there are swarms of wasps that appear to have somehow crept into the crevices and the corners of this room. Thessaelin may even recognize some of them potentially as broods that had recently been spawned. They start swarming together, and a silhouette begins to appear, which its form is both blurred and incongruous because it's made up of swarming wasps, but at the same time is solid and made up of mortal flesh. that stood in front of you is a very large approximation of the person that you formerly knew as Jurok and Tony. And that is where we are going to call tonight to a close.
No.
So, thank you everyone for joining us for this rather epic battle show that we had tonight. If you enjoyed tonight, we play every Monday from 6 p.m. GMT or 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we also play on Tuesdays with our recurring, regular, ongoing campaign, Fracture, which is also from 6 p.m. GMT, 10 a.m. Other time zones are available, and you can join us on Friday again from 6 p.m. Whatever your time zone is, for Talking is a Free Action, our chat show / question dungeon, or for Talk Together, the chat show where we interview players, DMs, and other TTRPG industry people. All of our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg, and you can find all of our content archived at youtube.com/rolltogetherrpg. There are also podcast versions of all of our shows available everywhere, so please just search for Roll Together RPG. A massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon, who without whom we could not do all of the fantastic stuff that we do. There will be a link in chat now so that you can join them, because every penny helps us to make all of this stuff. Big thank you again to all of our sponsors and supporters, and don't forget, we are all over the socials as Roll Together RPG. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you soon.
Stay classy at the table.